No, I'm
My God, this AC is. I have a feeling the people we're going to get, the people we're going to get is going to be like 5:30 to 6, and the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much the thing.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, no, that's. And then it's like, we got one question. I'm like, I'm Darren. Nice to meet you, Leslie. Kind of like, I was in New York forever. I went abroad too. So then I'm definitely with my girlfriend. Help each other out, like, spot someone. You're like, this is it.
You know, you're already a winner.
Well, it's a lot more calming. I was at the Emmys last year, and we didn't know until they announced it. But walking in here, I'm already elated, already very happy, already excited to meet all the other winners. And it's also really significant because I'm one of the youngest winners in history. A lot of people who are going to be here are going to be a lot older than me. However, because the Peabody's recently opened up a new category that allows social media creators to be involved in the award show, it's really exciting to be here. This is the first time they're ever presenting that award at the show, so it's a really cool moment.
And tell me just about, in your opinion, just the importance of art and using it to actually bring awareness and bring action to a lot of issues that are going on right now.
Yeah, well, the series that I won the Peabody for brings awareness to the issue of racism in New York City and around the country, really. These are topics that people might know about, but oftentimes in our school system, there are stories that are erased from history. There are so many communities whose tragedies and whose oppression have been downplayed or covered up. So using media as a form of communicating that is one way to reach the masses and educate so many people that would otherwise not know about these stories.
And what would you say to those historians and people who are aware of these past occurrences? Would you say it's time to, put these things to art and kind of make them accessible in that way, or it's time almost just to speak out and make it accessible just through sharing information?
Yeah, well, there's an idea in history that it's supposed to just be stuck in the past. You should just read it, learn about it, but be completely unbiased in how you apply it. I completely disagree with that. I think you learn about history in order to apply those principles to issues that we face in the world today. So I would tell any historian who does research about these topics to find ways of using what you learn to advocate and to be an activist around the issues that are happening today, because we're some of the best people to educate others on the patterns that we should recognize to prevent tragedy.
Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, nice to meet you.
At least she had to be at a presentation, so we knew it wasn't going to go till 8. She was still late, but 4 hours would be, to interview one person,
Listen, looking back, how does it feel now, looking at the documentary post-Oscar circuit and just seeing the impact that it's having?
Wow, it's been such an honor. Our film Bobby Wine, the People's President, has received such great support around the world. That's really what we needed, and we wanted the story to really shine a light on what's happening in Uganda and the fight for democracy around the world.
And you made this very accessible when it first came out. What is your reasoning for creating art that's accessible and kind of spreading the message that you want through the talk?
Yeah, because we really want, our film is not just about Uganda. It's also about the fight for democracy around the world and the fragility of democracies these systems are very fragile, and as a people, we all need to protect them. So that was really key in deciding how we distribute the film. And National Geographic has been such a wonderful partner. They've pushed the film as much as they can. It's been such an honor working with them.
And are you currently working on other docs or have anything else in process right now?
Yeah, there's a few things that I'm cooking, and yeah, for sure something will be in the works in the following years. But yes, I'm working on something.
Oh, that's exciting! I can't wait to see what comes, into fruition moving forward. And my last question for you is: it's a big election year globally and worldwide. How do you hope that documentaries like Bobby Wine or just the access of information right now will kind of impact that?
We are at a time in a world where democracy is, I believe, where we should be questioning what is democracy and really what is a democracy, and as a system, are they upholding up to the values that it espouses to, and that's why documentaries and filmmaking and the Peabodys are such an important avenue because they highlight these stories of how we are governed. So it's an important year in the world. America is one of the biggest democracies. It's the biggest democracy in the world that so many countries look up to. So as a world, we're looking up to what happens in America, and we hope democracy will uphold.
We'll see. The elections are looking dicey.
Thank you.
But thank you so much to bring the Peabodys here to LA this year.
We've been in New York since 1940, and that's when it was just radio. But the creative community is Los Angeles, and especially with the merger of kind of Southern California and Northern California. So, at the center of the creative community, we wanted to bring all these various stories that matter, not just entertainment, but also news and documentary.
And in your opinion, what is the role of an artist, especially during trivial times that we're going through right now with different wars and different elections going on?
Artists have a position to remind us of the importance of our moral center, and art is one of the most important ways to do that. Politics is polemical. Arts is about moving minds and souls, and I couldn't think of a more important time, a critical time for such artists to articulate those things. And that's not just about wars. That's things such as women's health or other stories that we don't focus enough on.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Going to pose with him.
On our list.
Have to make sure to get, or I'll just jump up as I talk to you.
Yeah, we're good.
Good?
The widespread stance.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I'll do tippy toes. Here we go. All right,
A little bit wacky, yeah, thank you.
No, you look great. You look great. Tell me, what was it like first walking into the Star Trek franchise and just entering that family?
Yeah, when you're coming into franchise, you're coming into this legacy that I watched as a kid in the 1960s. Yes, I'm that old. So one series after another, one movie after another. The franchise is humongous, and I didn't come into it until I was in my late 50s. And I thought, like, oh, well, that ship has sailed, and all of a sudden there's a new batch of shows, with Star Trek Discovery being the first one of those. So getting to bring back the franchise into the streaming platform. We were the first show in the streaming platforms, so that's kind of like history making in and of itself, and being a part of such a rich history that goes back to the 60s.
And then you're continuing with the new generation of fans, and they're going back and checking out the old.
Well, and the thing, when I meet fans from Star Trek, they're watching our show, Star Trek Discovery, one of the newer ones, but we have a mix of I've been watching since the 60s with people with the gray hair, and then younger people that are like, Star Trek Discovery was my first Star Trek show. And now I'm going back to watch all of them over the past decades. So it really is quite a legacy to live up to.
And I love that you hold that memory for a lot of the newer, fans that are coming in. And I want to ask as well, because one of the things that I love about sci-fi is that it seems that it really paved the way for diverse casting and diverse storytelling. Can you talk about why it is that potentially audiences are more open to a diverse, out of this planet future, but not as much when it's set in prison?
Well, I think the original vision of Roddenberry when creating Star Trek was to set it in the future, set it in space where race and genders and all these things didn't matter. We don't have to talk about it. We're just all these different, such a diverse cast of people living and working amongst each other without noticing each other's differences. Let's look at what unifies us, what makes us the same. That's a world I want to live in, and that's a world that we've continued with all the Star Trek shows since then.
I mean, we see it in, like you were saying earlier, we see it in the fan bases.
Yes.
Because look at how diverse, and it's a lot of people who often feel like misfits, who don't feel like they belong.
That's the beauty of science fiction in general, is that all of us misfits find each other and find family together with our weirdness, But the science fiction fans and Star Trek fans are very smart. It's a very intelligent crowd. They love storytelling that goes outside the box of what we know here on Earth. What are the possibilities out there? What else does the galaxy hold for us? Let's find out.
Yeah, I love it. Creating the change makers of tomorrow. Right?
Exactly, right. So many people I've met from NASA got their interest in space and in the science of it from watching Star Trek.
Oh, wow.
I hear that all the time from so many PhDs. Yeah.
I love seeing that art impact.
Isn't that weird? I know, yeah. Life does imitate art, yeah.
Well, my last question for you going into that is, in your opinion, what is the role of art to really impact society, especially in times where we're dealing with issues around women's health, around, there's wars going on, there's an election years globally. What is, in your opinion, what is the role of an artist during these times?
The beauty of art is that one sculpture can be looked at by 4 different people, and they all get something different out of it. I'd like to see the same about film and television, that we present art, and our audience is such a diverse crowd that want to see something, want to find themselves, want to be inspired in their own lives, and it might be very, very different that they get out of our storytelling. So I'm having a space adventure, and if you take away something that relates to the world around you now, that helps you get through the hard times we're in, God bless you. That's what we're here for.
Yes, thank you so much, Doug. Thank you for
so
your
much.
time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Leslie, nice to meet you. Peabody, got me ready. Give us 1 second. I'm just going to camera back.
Thank you, too.
Appreciate that, but I wanted to ask, because it's been at the forefront of my mind right now, just we've seen with the sci-fi genre, people are more open to diverse storytelling. It kind of paved the way for a lot of diverse casting as well. Why do you think audiences are more open to diverse storytelling in that genre versus others?
I think typically because it's allegorical, so it's not so directly a representation of what's happening in our reality right now. And I think it's easier for people to be impressed upon by something that's a little separated, right? All the emotion is real and authentic, hopefully, right? That's what I think we aspire for. But it's not so directly connected to their lives, so they can sort of project upon it and be impacted by it without really knowing that that's happening.
Kind of like it's that loophole of like kind of penetrating someone.
Yeah, it's almost like a Trojan horse in a way.
Okay, thank you. No,
Yeah.
it's been at the forefront of my mind, just been thinking of all the different sci-fi films that have come out and that have, paved the way to create these franchises. And I also wanted to ask you, because it feels like not only is Hollywood in turbulent times post-strike, but just worldwide, there is always some sort of turmoil going on. In your opinion, what is the role of an artist during these times, not just in Hollywood, but just in general?
Oh, that's a nice question. I think that's different for every artist. For me personally, I aspire to make work that fills people with awe and wonder. I think when you're filled with awe and wonder for things in the world, it's much easier to see things that are hard to understand, or that are other from you, or that are unknown. And a part of those terms that I think love is very important when you describe awe and wonder. And I would like to inspire people to see things that is different from their own selves, from what they know, and be filled with awe for it. Sure. Oh, thank you too.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
What's the best part about working?
It's more than a brand.
Yeah.
It's a storytelling juggernaut.
Favorite part about being Star Trek?
The sense of family and all the past. Certainly the past that I'm a part of. It's just great to we all feel like we're part of
I wanted to ask you this because it's been at the forefront of my mind, especially with everything going on in the world right now. In your opinion, what is the role of an artist during trivial times?
It's a really great question. I think the role of art and artists has always been to hold up a mirror to who we are, to shine a light on truth, and to embody those very human ideals of love, longing, loss, gain. Art tells the story of who we are. And that's really important. Because if you don't know who you are, then you have no idea where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you're pretty much lost.
That's kind of when we repeat those patterns.
Right.
Those terrible patterns.
Those cycles of dysfunction. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to ask you about, because we saw you out on the picket lines last summer, a full year now. Hollywood is still recovering. IATSE is still in negotiations. Does it kind of make you feel a little bleak about the future of Hollywood, or does it feel like we're moving towards transformation of the old ways?
I've been in this business almost 50 years, and it's changing. It's changed drastically, dramatically. We're all just trying to, hey, go blue.
I'm signing her up. I couldn't help myself. Sorry.
Darren Chris. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I forgot where we were.
I know it happens. It's okay.
Darren Chris.
But I was asking you if you feel a little bleak about Hollywood, or if you feel...
some days it's hard to not feel bleak. You're absolutely right. There are a lot of people who are still unemployed in this town. We have not completely recovered from the strikes. I'm an Aquarian. I'm an eternal optimist. Jessica Rabbit would say I'm just drawn that way, right? So I'm always going to bet on the human beings to get our acts together because I believe in it. And there's plenty of evidence to the contrary presently. And so we just have to continue to have hope and resist.
And do you hope that resistance will bring transformation moving forward?
It has before. I have no reason to believe that it won't in this instance as well.
Thank you so much, Lamar. Thank you for your time. Congratulations on tonight, by the way.
Thank you.
Of course, I know a lot of big reunions tonight,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Thank you. What is the aftermath been like for you in terms of people creating conversations online and kind of creating that change out of
behind the scenes? Yeah, I mean it's always such an exciting thing if you focused on making the show and telling stories, and then to see it go out into the world is a whole new thing. It's been really
I think it's always
amazing.
It's fun, just like watching and then you don't know what to expect. All of it, this person, you just say one thing and everyone's like, where was that at? I'm like, I don't know much to do with it.
Seen themselves on the show, similar to the show, and that's been really gratifying.
Thank you for chatting with us, and congratulations on tonight. Thank you. Did you get time off from Chicago to come over tonight?
No, we're back. We're done shooting season 3, which would be insane if we weren't, because it'll be out.
Oh, that's true. It's out in a few days, right?
In a couple weeks. Yeah, we're almost here.
Oh my gosh. And tell me, how did it feel just being back with everyone post-award circuit and post kind of dealing with that press craziness?
It's great. It's fun because we love we all love each other. It sounds like the way we describe it sounds like we might hate each other because we're all like we love it. We love each other. It's all great, but it's like genuine love and spending time, and it just feels like camp where when we're not working, we're like eating together or just like kicking it at someone's place or whatever.
Oh, I love that. No, it seems we've seen you all backstage quite a few times, and I'm like, oh, they all hang out like on their off time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you as well, just given that we're at the Peabodys, in your opinion, what is an artist's role? When we're going through trivial times in the world right now.
So that question, some screams happen and
no,
I can
you're
hear
good. What's an artist's role during times that are very trivial?
I think in the true artist sense, it's subjective to the artist. It's artist's role in these times is just to express, whether it's like against how you're feeling, whether it's a feeling that captures how everyone else is feeling, whether it's like anger, distraught, despair, happiness, whatever. It's just your job to express what you're feeling and find, like, for people to connect to whichever feeling they can't quite articulate or are articulating to themselves.
So kind of almost like creating that community for people to experience.
Exactly.
And my last question for you is, what are you most excited for fans to see from your character in this upcoming season?
I'm excited to see what people react and respond to. I'm excited just to see what people say and think. More than anything, I don't have any expectations going in like, oh, I hope this, that, or the other. It's just like, let's see.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to see. Love to think of your character last season.
Thank you.
I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you. Resonating with adults and young millennials as well. What does that mean to you, knowing that you're a part of a bigger story that's helping people cope in so many different ways?
Amazing. Yeah, you sort of expect the audience of the little kids and then the parents really enjoying it, but
what's really shocked me is people who they're like early 20s who've come up and said, look, I had a really tricky childhood and this show feels like it's reparenting me, or I didn't feel like I could have kids because of my upbringing, but this show makes me feel like I could be a good parent. Like that is so moving, and to be part of something that's, you know, putting a net good out into the world. It's just really magical.
What do you think it is about specifically, not just movies, but just cartoons in general, that adults are kind of gravitating to while we're kind of going through a lot right now?
I think you've really hit on it. I think there's a level of escapism that it allows, and I think particularly the messaging has so much heart and it's so bold. Without, I think something about it being dogs in a cartoon means that it's an easy access point for everyone, and everyone can like do what they want to do.
Was there an episode that while you were recording it really resonated with you based on the topic?
One that really got me was Sleepy Time. Just at the end, the mum is sort of like the sun, and she says, "It doesn't matter. Even if you can't see me, I'm always going to be there." And that just, it's tears. Like reading it and then seeing the actual episode, I was crying like a baby. I was bawling. It was so beautiful.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and congratulations.
And the stories that we get to tell are past. And I think that we tap into that inherent curiosity and desire. I would say think outside the box. I know that, you know, within when you a screenwriter, you learn how to write, you have to follow certain formulas, and I think that rules are always meant to be broken. And there are a lot of things that people I am just a small cog in a very, very, very large machine.
Excuse me.
It's really
doing it well. Now the trend is really good to go.
It's extraordinary. I mean, almost 60 years of legacy over the world. And, the fact that these stories keep moving people the way that they do, and that it's been recognized by the Peabody for the impact that it had, I think Roddenberry was doing a great job.
The Peabody's holistic creativity in media. We strive for integrity whenever we're writing and creating. And it's brought a lot to so many, and it's given us so much. This era is above and beyond anything else.
And what do you think it is that specifically the sci-fi genre just resonates with people who often feel like misfits in society or just don't feel like they next?
Well, I'm going to push back a tiny bit. Bill Gates is that I'm on. They're all the big sci-fi guys. So I always think a misfit's going to give it an opportunity. All that said, sci-fi means there is a future. We're going to get there. That's what really pushed me up.
I think Trek is distinguished from a lot of other science fiction franchises, and it's endured for as long as it has, because it has this essential vision of optimism at its core. And all sci-fi doesn't do that. A lot of sci-fi actually has the opposite. It's this idea that we've actually, all the things that divide us are in the rearview mirror, and now we live in a world where we can all just meet. It's a pretty amazing.
Thank you both for sharing that.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.